I first rode a snowmobile, for one thing, 1962. And it was a Polaris, made out in Minnesota. And those things, you just, I had to have one. That's all I wanted to do it. I liked that. That's a lot of fun.
Bill came home one day and said he had bought a snowmobile. His friend had wrecked it about 2 hours earlier, and he bought it kind of wrecked, but he brought it home. And that was the first I've ever heard of a snowmobile. And then he bought a second one, and we started riding from here, which we were able to do at the time. But we realized real early on that you couldn't just use everybody's property. One of the first sentences of VAST was, with every privilege comes the responsibility. And so we thought we would find people to snowmobile with and go as a group. And that's when we realized that we had to organize a little better so that we wouldn't upset the farmers. Bill, being a former farmer, he knew how the farmers could feel if people just ran all over their lands.
Little things happened. People said those terrible machines are noisy, they keep us awake nights, and do all these terrible things, you know. They want to ban them out of the state. They were writing letters, answering letters in the newspapers and all this kind of stuff, and we thought, gotta be a better way than this. Well, you had to join your local club. That was how we got it really going. Start your local club in your hometown area. That way you could communicate with the local people, which that worked out pretty doggone good. We named one person as a treasurer and another a secretary and a reporter and stuff like that.
And that started that way with a very small group at our first meeting in Bolton Valley. We were charging 10 cents a member, and our treasury was $1.36 in the red. And now today the budget is $6 million. But from there, with Bill being able to be on the road with his job, you start forming groups and clubs.
But it caught on. That was the whole thing. It got going, and I could form a club in one night, no problem at all, with the secretary, the treasurer, the whole thing. Now, you know anything about Robert's Rules of Order. You don't do things like that. Well, we did. We kept it going. And it was kind of fun and interesting and so on.
Then we got into the point where we needed local directors to handle so many clubs, and eventually we wound up with a director from each county.
The organization did take on a life of its own, basically, because it got to the point where we had answering services and so on and so forth that answered the phone. We needed an executive director. We got so darn big and so busy, we needed somebody that would, and it would have to be a paid position. And we went with a secretary, and so she could kind of keep communications going and whatnot, and then she'd answer the phone and so on. So if there was something kind of critical with some of the people that we've been talking to, we could get right on it. And then, of course, at the same time, we started talking to our legislators about getting a law passed governing the control of the snowmobiles. They didn't have a law that even said one thing about a snowmobile. They didn't describe a snowmobile, no regulations, no nothing. And so I said, why don't we start one? We'll start the whole thing rolling.
One of the things I think I'm proudest of is that it has developed a trail system such as it has, and is known throughout the snow belt.